Mastering your emotions, how to never let anyone make you angry or upset. Have you ever had a day where everything was going perfectly until suddenly someone said something rude, acted unfairly, or did something that felt completely unnecessary? And just like that, your mood shifted, frustration crept in, maybe even anger, and before you knew it, that one moment had taken over your entire day. But here's something to think about. Did they really ruin your day? Or did you let them? The truth is, no one has control over your emotions unless you give them that power. The words, the actions, the situations, they don't carry any real weight on their own. What gives them power is how you react to them. Now imagine this. Imagine if nothing, no criticism, no insult, no external event could shake your inner peace. Imagine walking through life with a sense of calm, so unshakable that no one else could dictate how you feel. This isn't just an abstract idea, it's something you can develop. Emotional mastery is a skill, and once you learn it, everything changes. In this video, we're going to explore 10 transformative lessons that will help you stop reacting impulsively, let go of anger, and regain full control over your emotions. These aren't just theories. They're practical, actionable strategies that will change the way you handle life's challenges. This isn't about ignoring your emotions or pretending not to care. It's about developing true mental strength, the kind that allows you to face anything with clarity, composure, and confidence. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to break free from emotional triggers, protect your peace, and live life on your own terms. Welcome to Practical Philosophy. And if you're new here, welcome. This is Practical Philosophy, a channel dedicated to helping you master your mind, develop self-discipline, and free yourself from unnecessary emotional suffering. I believe that philosophy isn't just something to be studied, it's something to be lived. And that's exactly what we do here. Each week, we dive deep into timeless wisdom from Stoicism, Buddhism, Taoism, and modern psychology, combining them into powerful, practical insights that you can apply to your everyday life. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is only useful if it helps you live better. And that's what this channel is all about, helping you develop the mindset, clarity, and emotional strength to navigate life with wisdom and confidence. So if that's something you're looking for, make sure to subscribe and join this journey. Now, let's get started, because your path to emotional freedom begins right now. 1. Your reactions are your choice. Picture this. You're having a peaceful day, maybe sipping coffee, taking a quiet walk, or simply enjoying a rare moment of stillness. Everything feels calm, but then, out of nowhere, someone says something rude, or maybe they do something inconsiderate. And just like that, your mood shifts, frustration kicks in, maybe even anger. The peace you had just moments ago, gone. But here's something to think about. Did they really ruin your day? Or did you let them? Because the truth is, no one has the power to control your emotions unless you hand that power over to them. That comment, that action, it doesn't hold any meaning until you interpret it, until you react to it. And that means one thing. You are always in control of how you respond. It's easy to believe that emotions are automatic, that anger is an unavoidable reaction to an insult, that frustration is the natural response to inconvenience. But if that were true, why do some people stay calm in situations that send others into a rage? The answer is simple. They understand that between what happens and how they react, there is always a choice. There's a powerful idea from both Stoicism and modern psychology that explains this perfectly. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose. And in that choice lies our growth and our freedom. That space, the tiny moment before you react, that's where your true power is. Think of it like this. Imagine you're wearing noise-canceling headphones in a crowded city. The honking cars, the loud conversations, the chaotic background noise, it's all still there, but it doesn't reach you. Emotional mastery works the same way. You can't stop the outside world from being chaotic, but you can decide what you let in. And this is the key. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when a coworker criticizes your work, when a stranger is rude to you, you have two options. 1. React impulsively, letting their words or actions dictate your emotions. 2. Pause. Recognize the emotional trigger and choose your response. The second option is what separates those who are ruled by emotions from those who rule their emotions. Now, let's talk about the power of the pause. Imagine a moment when someone disrespects you. Your instinct might be to react immediately, maybe with anger, maybe with defense, maybe by holding on to resentment for the rest of the day. But instead, what if you took a deep breath and paused? Is this really about me? Or is it just a reflection of their own stress, insecurity, or emotions? Does this situation actually deserve my energy? That pause? That's your greatest weapon. The ability to stop, assess, and make a conscious choice is the difference between being controlled by emotions and being in control of them. But let's be clear, this isn't about suppressing your emotions. You're human. You will feel anger. You will feel frustration. But here's the difference. You don't have to act on them. Think of anger like a fire. When you react impulsively, you're throwing gasoline onto the flames. But when you pause and choose your response, you take away its fuel. And just like that, the fire dies before it spreads. So how do you start applying this in your daily life? First, recognize the trigger. The moment you feel irritation or anger rising, pause and name the emotion. And I feel frustrated. And I feel hurt. And I feel annoyed. Simply labeling the emotion creates distance between you and it, making it easier to manage. Then, question your interpretation. Ask yourself, am I upset because of what happened, or because of how I'm interpreting it? Am I assuming the worst? Does this moment actually deserve my energy? And finally, choose your response. Do I even need to respond? If I do, what's the most effective way to handle this? Will my reaction bring me peace or just more chaos? The moment you start making conscious choices instead of automatic reactions, everything changes. Now, imagine walking through life with a sense of peace so strong that no one, not a rude stranger, not an unfair comment, not an unexpected inconvenience, can shake you. That's not just emotional strength. That's freedom. And the next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember this: their behavior doesn't define you. Your reaction does. And that's a power no one can take away from you. If you can master this, you're already ahead of most people. But there's another powerful shift that can take your emotional resilience even further: learning how to let go of expectations. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 2. Stop expecting people to behave like you. Have you ever felt disappointed when someone didn't treat you the way you would treat them? Maybe you always go out of your way to help a friend, but when you need support, they're nowhere to be found. Or perhaps you take pride in being honest and considerate, but then someone lies or acts unfairly towards you, and you think to yourself, how could they do that? I would never treat them this way. That frustration, that sense of injustice, it all comes from a simple but painful truth. You expected them to act like you, but the reality is, people don't operate by your rules. They don't see the world through your eyes. So instead of asking, why don't they treat me the way I treat them? The better question is, why do I expect them to? And here's something to keep in mind. Most people aren't trying to hurt you. They're simply acting according to their own nature. Their choices, their behaviors, their priorities are shaped by their experiences, not yours. Think about it. A person who values loyalty might feel betrayed when a friend lets them down. But for that friend, loyalty may not mean the same thing. A person who prides themselves on kindness may take offense when someone is rude, while the rude person might not even realize the impact of their words. People are living in their own reality, not yours. And when you accept this, you stop taking things so personally. Now, here's where things get even more freeing. The moment you let go of the idea that others should behave like you, you also let go of a huge source of frustration. Because the truth is, you can't control people. You can't make someone be more considerate, more thoughtful, or more like you, no matter how much you wish they would change. Take this example. You have a coworker who constantly interrupts during meetings. It drives you crazy. You see it as rude, disrespectful, and inconsiderate. But then, you take a step back and realize, this person interrupts everyone. It's not about you. It's simply the way they are. And suddenly, instead of wasting energy trying to change them, you shift your focus. You learn how to navigate around it. You accept that they are who they are, and more importantly, you choose how to respond. This doesn't mean you tolerate bad behavior. It means you stop expecting people to be different from who they've always been. And that alone can bring you an incredible sense of peace. Think about it. How much of your disappointment in life comes from expecting things to go a certain way? We all do it. We expect friends to be as thoughtful as we are. We expect coworkers to respect our time. We expect family members to understand us without needing to explain ourselves. But expectations create suffering. The more you expect, the more you set yourself up for disappointment. Here's a simple shift that can change everything. Instead of expecting, accept. Instead of thinking, I wouldn't do that to them, shift your mindset to, they are acting from their nature, not mine, and that's okay. And when you stop expecting people to be someone they're not, you free yourself from the frustration that comes with it. Because at the end of the day, your peace is worth more than your expectations. So, What can you do to start letting go of these expectations today? First, pay attention to your assumptions. The next time you feel disappointed by someone's behavior, ask yourself, was I expecting them to act like me? Then, challenge that expectation. Was it fair for me to assume they would behave that way? And finally, shift your focus. Instead of trying to change them, how can I change the way I react? Once you start practicing this, you'll notice something incredible happening. You'll stop feeling so drained by other people's actions. The rude stranger, the unreliable friend, the inconsiderate coworker, they will no longer have the power to disrupt your emotions. Because instead of expecting them to meet your standards, you'll accept that they are who they are. And you'll choose to focus on the one thing you can control, your own response. And that, my friend, is the key to true emotional freedom. Now, let's take this one step further. If you're ready to free yourself even more, there's another powerful shift that can change your life. Letting go of the need to always be right. And that's exactly what we'll dive into next. Let's continue. 3. Let go of the need to always be right. Think back to the last time you got into an argument. Maybe it was over something small, like the best route to take somewhere. Maybe it was something more personal, like a disagreement with a friend, a family member, or a coworker. As the conversation heated up, did you feel that overwhelming urge to prove your point? That deep need to be right? We've all been there. There's something inside us that craves validation. It's as if being wrong threatens our identity, as if admitting we're mistaken means we are weak or inferior. But in reality, this mindset does nothing but trap us in unnecessary conflict, stress, and emotional exhaustion. Now here's the real question. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be at peace? The ego's attachment to being right. At the heart of this struggle is the ego, that fragile sense of self that constantly seeks affirmation. When someone challenges our opinion, it's not just the idea that feels attacked, it's us. And so, we fight back, not because we truly need to prove a point, but because our ego demands protection. But the wise know something most people don't. A fool is always right in his own eyes, but the wise are willing to change. If you observe the greatest thinkers, the strongest leaders, and the most peaceful individuals, you'll notice a common trait. They are not afraid to be wrong. Why? Because they understand that being wrong is not a weakness. It's an opportunity for growth. Would you rather win the argument or win the peace? Imagine a couple arguing over something trivial, say, how to properly load the dishwasher. The argument escalates, not because it actually matters, but because neither person wants to back down. Both need to be right. But here's the truth. Winning an argument rarely brings happiness. Being right doesn't necessarily mean being wise. And proving a point is often less important than preserving peace. In fact, most arguments in life aren't about the topic itself. They're about pride, control, and the fear of feeling small. But what if you didn't need to prove yourself? What if you could step back and say, this isn't worth my energy? That's not weakness. That's power. The art of letting go. A simple but powerful practice is this. 1. Before engaging in an argument, ask yourself, is proving my point going to improve my life or just drain my energy? 2. When someone insists they're right, ask yourself, do I need to prove them wrong, or can I just let it be? 3. If you feel the urge to argue, pause and ask, what will I gain from this? And what will I lose? Most of the time, you'll realize that engaging in the argument isn't worth it. This doesn't mean you suppress your opinions or never stand up for what's right. It simply means you choose your battles wisely and recognize that not every disagreement is worth your peace. The Stoic perspective, mastering detachment. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." This is one of the most liberating ideas in Stoicism. Not every issue requires your input. Not every debate needs your voice. Sometimes, the smartest move is silence. Epictetus, another great Stoic, taught that it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. When you let go of the need to always be right, you open yourself up to learning, growing, and truly understanding others. The irony? The people who refuse to be wrong are often the ones who remain stuck. But those who can admit they don't have all the answers, they evolve, choosing growth over ego. Now, imagine a life where you no longer feel the need to argue over small things, where someone challenges your opinion, and instead of getting defensive, you simply smile and let it go. And you no longer waste energy on pointless debates. And you no longer feel drained by proving yourself. And most importantly, you gain something far more valuable than being right. You gain peace. And that's a power no argument can take away from you. Your next step, if you can master this, if you can let go of the need to always be right, you'll experience a level of freedom most people never reach. But there's still something deeper we need to address. Because even when we let go of arguments, there's another thing that keeps us trapped in emotional turmoil, caring too much about what others think. And in the next part, we'll explore exactly how to detach from opinions that don't serve you. Let's keep going. 4. Stop letting others' words define your worth. Imagine this. You're excitedly sharing an idea, maybe at work, with a friend, or even online. You feel confident, passionate, and proud. But then, someone interrupts with a dismissive comment, and suddenly, all that confidence disappears. Why does this happen? Why do we let someone else's words have so much power over how we see ourselves? The truth is, most people spend their entire lives chasing validation from others, without realizing they are handing over control of their self-worth. But what if you could change that? What if no insult, no criticism, no judgment could shake your sense of who you are? Why do we care so much about others' opinions? There's a reason why human beings crave approval. Psychologically, we are wired to seek belonging. Since ancient times, our survival depended on being accepted by the group. Rejection meant danger. Isolation meant death. But in today's world, this survival instinct has turned into something else, a desperate need to be liked, to be understood, to be validated. We let compliments lift us up, but we also let criticism tear us down. And the worst part? We care more about what others think of us than what we think of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but we care more about their opinions than our own. Does that sound familiar? Your worth is not up for debate. Here's a question to ask yourself. Would you let a stranger walk into your house and rearrange your furniture? Probably not. Then why would you let a stranger, or even someone you know, walk into your mind and rearrange your self-worth? Other people's words do not define you. Their compliments don't make you more valuable. Their insults don't make you less. You existed before their opinions, and you will exist after them. Let's take an example. Imagine a coworker harshly criticizes your work. Your instinct might be to defend yourself, to replay their words over and over in your head, to let it ruin your day. But what if, instead, you paused and reminded yourself, their words are a reflection of their perspective, not my value. But what they say about me has more to do with them than with me. And I am not defined by a single opinion. When you detach from the weight of others' opinions, you regain your power. How to stop letting words control you. So, how do you actually start applying this in your life? 1. Pause before reacting. When someone says something that stings, take a deep breath before responding. That small moment of awareness gives you a choice. React emotionally, or respond with clarity. 2. Separate fact from opinion. Not all feedback is true. Ask yourself, is this their personal opinion? Or is there real truth in what they're saying? Do they actually understand me? Or are they projecting their own insecurities? If the criticism is constructive, use it to improve. If it's just negativity, let it go. 3. Reaffirm your worth. The next time someone criticizes you, instead of internalizing it, remind yourself, their opinion does not change who I am. My value is not determined by what they say. Over time, this shift in mindset builds resilience. You stop relying on others to validate you, and instead, you validate yourself. Freedom comes from detachment. The moment you stop letting words define you, you become free. Think about it. How much lighter would your life feel if you weren't constantly seeking approval? If you could take a compliment without needing it, and hear criticism without crumbling? This is what true confidence looks like. It's not arrogance, and it's not about ignoring people completely. It's about having a deep, unshakable sense of self that isn't built on the shifting opinions of others. So the next time someone's words challenge your confidence, ask yourself, am I letting this define me? Or can I choose to focus on what I know to be true about myself? Because in that moment, you reclaim your power. And when you do, you realize that no one's opinion, good or bad, has the ability to take away your worth. Your next step, now that you've learned how to free yourself from the weight of others' opinions, let's take it one step further. Because even when we detach from what people say, there's still another challenge, setting boundaries to protect our energy. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 5. Protect your energy by setting boundaries. Think about the last time you felt drained, not just physically, but emotionally. Maybe it was because a friend constantly unloaded their problems onto you. A coworker kept piling extra tasks on your plate. Or someone in your life expected you to be available at all times. You felt exhausted, frustrated, maybe even resentful. But the truth is, it wasn't their actions alone that made you feel this way. It was the lack of boundaries. Because here's something most people don't realize. Protecting your peace is your responsibility. You can't control how people act, but you can control what you allow. And if you don't set boundaries, you will always feel drained, overextended, and taken for granted. Why do we struggle with setting boundaries? Many people resist setting boundaries because they fear disappointing others. What if they think I'm selfish? What if they get upset? What if I lose this relationship? But here's the paradox. The more you try to please everyone, the more you lose yourself. If you always say yes when you want to say no, you are teaching people that your time, energy, and emotions are available on demand. But the truth is, saying no is not selfish, it's necessary. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you constantly give without protecting your own energy, you will burn out. And the more depleted you are, the less you have to offer, not just to others, but to yourself. Setting boundaries is self-respect. Imagine your life as a house without doors. Anyone can walk in at any time, track dirt on your floors, and leave a mess. Now, think about the people in your life. Who constantly drains your energy? Who always expects more than they give? Who disrespects your time, your values, or your personal space? If you don't set boundaries, you are allowing others to invade your emotional space without any limitations. But when you create boundaries, you build doors. You decide who gets access, when, and under what conditions. And this is not about shutting people out. It's about deciding where your energy is best spent. Because the truth is, you are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, your well-being, your mental clarity, your peace. How to set boundaries without guilt. So how do you start setting boundaries without feeling guilty? 1. Be clear and direct. People cannot read your mind. If you don't communicate your limits, they won't know they're crossing them. Instead of saying, "I'm kind of busy, but I guess I can help," try saying, "I don't have time for this right now, but I hope you find a solution." Instead of saying, "I feel bad, but I can't make it," try saying, "I won't be able to join this time, but thank you for inviting me." You don't owe anyone an elaborate explanation. Clear, calm, and direct communication is enough. 2. Use I statements. The way you phrase your boundaries matters. Instead of blaming others, focus on your needs. Instead of, "You always call me at the worst times," say, "I need some uninterrupted time in the evenings, so I won't be available for calls after 8 p.m. This shifts the focus from their behavior to your personal needs, which makes it easier for them to understand and respect. 3. Enforce your boundaries consistently. A boundary that you don't enforce is just a suggestion. If you say you need personal time but continue answering texts and emails after hours, you are teaching people that your boundary isn't real. Stick to your limits. The people who respect you will adjust. The ones who don't, they were never truly invested in your well-being. And yes, Some people might get upset when you start setting boundaries, but that's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their expectations. Freedom comes from protecting your energy. Imagine a life where you no longer feel drained because of other people's demands. Where you can say no without guilt. Where you can prioritize yourself without explanation. Where you no longer feel responsible for fixing everyone else's problems. That's not selfish. That's self-respect. Because the truth is, if someone gets angry at you for setting healthy boundaries, they were benefiting from your lack of them. So starting today, reclaim your energy, protect your peace, and remember, you are not here to be available for everyone at all times. You deserve relationships, environments, and conversations that uplift you, not drain you. What's next? Now that you've learned how to set boundaries, let's take things a step further. Because even when we protect our energy, there's still one more challenge: detaching from the opinions of others. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 6. Detach from the opinions of others. Imagine this. You share an idea, something you truly believe in. You feel excited, inspired, and confident. But then, someone dismisses it with a single comment. Suddenly, that confidence fades. You start second-guessing yourself. Were they right? Am I being foolish? And just like that, you hand over control of your emotions to someone else. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Why does their opinion matter so much? Most people spend their entire lives being prisoners of public opinion, constantly adjusting their actions, words, and even dreams to avoid judgment. But true freedom begins when you stop letting other people's thoughts define you. Why do we seek approval? From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval. A nod of approval from a teacher, a compliment from a parent, acceptance from friends. All of these shape our behavior. At its core, this need for validation comes from an ancient survival instinct. Thousands of years ago, being accepted by the group meant safety. Being rejected meant danger. But in today's world, this instinct has become a mental prison. We live in constant fear of judgment. What will they think? Will they approve? What if they criticize me? And so, we hold ourselves back. We stay silent when we should speak. We shrink when we should stand tall. We trade authenticity for acceptance. But the truth is, the people who judge you today will forget about you tomorrow. Their opinions are fleeting. Yet so many people waste years of their lives trying to please others. You are not what others think of you. Here's a powerful reminder. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lao Tzu. When you base your self-worth on how others perceive you, you become a puppet, constantly adjusting yourself to fit their expectations. But here's the problem. You can never fully control how others see you. One person may admire you. Another may criticize you. The same action can be praised by one and mocked by another. So the real question is, why would you let something so unstable define who you are? Think of yourself like the sky. People's opinions? They're just passing clouds. Some days, the sky is clear. Other days, storms roll in. But no matter what, the sky remains unchanged. Your worth is not determined by someone else's approval. It is something you own, independent unshaken, and absolute. How to detach from others' opinions. So, how do you actually start freeing yourself from this mental trap? 1. Question their authority. The next time someone's opinion makes you doubt yourself, ask, who are they to decide my worth? Do they truly understand me? Or are they projecting their own fears and insecurities? Will their opinion matter in 5 years? Chances are, the answer is no. 2. Remember that everyone has a bias. People don't see you as you are. They see you through the lens of their own experiences, beliefs, and insecurities. Someone who has failed may tell you that your dreams are impossible. Someone who is unhappy may criticize your joy. Someone who fears taking risks may mock your ambition. But none of this has anything to do with you. It's a reflection of them. 3. Focus on your own standards. Instead of asking, what will people think? Ask yourself, do I respect myself for this choice? Am I acting in alignment with my values? Would my future self be proud of this decision? When your actions align with your own values, outside opinions lose their power. The power of indifference. The moment you stop being controlled by other people's judgments, you unlock a new level of freedom. Imagine being able to express your thoughts without fear. Imagine making decisions without second-guessing yourself. Imagine living your life based on your own standards, not the ever-changing opinions of others. That's not arrogance. That's self-ownership. So the next time someone criticizes you, pause and ask yourself, am I living for them or for me? Because in that moment, you reclaim your power. And the less you care about others' opinions, the more you can focus on what truly matters, becoming the best version of yourself. Your next step, now that you've freed yourself from the weight of external opinions, let's take this even further. Because sometimes, the best response to negativity isn't arguing, explaining, or defending yourself. It's silence. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 7. Respond with silence, not anger. Picture this. You're in a heated discussion. Someone says something offensive, maybe even tries to provoke you. Your heart starts racing. Your first instinct? To fire back with a sharp remark, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But what if, instead of reacting, you did something completely unexpected? What if you said nothing? Because here's a truth most people never realize. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. The power of saying nothing. We've been conditioned to believe that the louder we are, the more control we have. That if someone insults us, we must defend ourselves. That if someone challenges us, we must fight back. But in reality, true strength isn't found in reacting. It's found in restraint. Marcus Aurelius put it best. The best answer to anger is silence. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means control. When you choose silence over reaction, you are sending a powerful message. I refuse to be controlled by your negativity. I am not at the mercy of your words. Your behavior does not dictate my inner state. This is what it means to be truly unshakable. Anger seeks fuel. Silence starves it. Think of anger like a fire. When someone tries to provoke you, they are handing you a match. If you respond with anger, you are adding fuel. and the fire grows. But if you choose silence, you take away the oxygen. The fire dies before it even begins. A simple example. Imagine a coworker tries to belittle you in a meeting. They throw out a sarcastic remark, hoping to get a reaction. You have two choices. Crossmark, you argue back, letting emotions take over. The tension escalates. White heavy checkmark, you stay calm, say nothing, and let the awkward silence settle in. What happens? Their words lose their power. The attention shifts back to them, exposing their insecurity. Silence is not just a response. It is a mirror that forces people to face their own behavior. When to use silence as a response. There are moments in life where silence is the best answer. Keycap 1: when someone tries to provoke you. Not engaging removes their power over you. Keycap 2: when an argument will solve nothing. Sometimes, no amount of words will change someone's mind. The wisest thing to do is walk away. Keycap 3: when someone is looking for attention. People who thrive on drama want a reaction. Your silence denies them that satisfaction. Keycap 4: when the truth speaks for itself. Not every accusation or insult needs a defense. The truth will stand, even without words. Mastering the art of silence. So how do you start using silence as a response? 1. Pause before reacting. The next time you feel anger rising, don't speak immediately. Take a breath. Give yourself a few seconds before deciding if a response is even necessary. 2. Observe instead of engaging. Instead of reacting emotionally, watch the situation unfold. Often, people reveal more about themselves through their words than they realize. 3. Let the silence do the work. When someone tries to get a rise out of you, let them sit in the discomfort of their own words. Silence is a mirror. It forces them to confront themselves. 4. Speak only when it adds value. Buddhist wisdom teaches, speak only if it improves upon the silence. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment deserves a reply. True wisdom is knowing when to stay silent and when to speak. Real strength is in control, not reaction. Imagine living a life where no insult, no provocation, no negativity can shake you. Where people try to pull you into arguments, and you simply smile and walk away. Where someone tries to drag you into their drama, and you remain untouched. Where your silence says more than words ever could. That is real power. That is real control. So the next time someone tries to push your buttons, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, will responding bring me peace or just more chaos? Because in that moment, you decide, and that choice, that's your freedom. What's next? Now that you've mastered the power of silence, let's take things even deeper, because there's another skill that can completely dissolve anger, practicing gratitude. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 8. Practice gratitude to dissolve anger. Imagine this. You're having a tough day. Nothing seems to be going right. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your plans fall apart. Or a rude comment ruins your mood. Frustration builds. And you start thinking, why is everything going wrong? But what if, in that exact moment, instead of focusing on what's going wrong, you shifted your attention to what's going right? Because here's something powerful. You can't feel grateful and angry at the same time. Gratitude is like a reset button for the mind. It instantly changes your perspective, dissolves frustration, and helps you see that even in the worst moments, there is still something to appreciate. Why does gratitude reduce anger? Psychologically, anger is the result of unmet expectations. Or this shouldn't have happened to me. Or they shouldn't have treated me this way. Or I deserved better. Anger is rooted in the belief that life owes us something. But gratitude shifts the narrative. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you start recognizing what's already there. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do, and you will find peace." Gratitude is the practice of accepting life as it is, rather than resisting it. And when you learn to do that, anger naturally fades away, turning frustration into gratitude. Take a simple example. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Normally, frustration would take over. But what if, instead of focusing on the delay, you thought about this? At least I have a car and the ability to drive. At least I have a job to go to. At least I have this moment to pause, breathe, and listen to my favorite music. Does it change the situation? No. But does it change how you feel? Absolutely. Gratitude doesn't ignore problems. It reframes them. How to make gratitude a daily habit. So how do you start using gratitude to dissolve anger in your daily life? 1. Pause and reflect. When you feel irritation rising, take a moment and ask yourself, what is one thing I can be grateful for in this situation? How could this challenge be an opportunity? This shifts your focus from frustration to appreciation. 2. Keep a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that went well, no matter how small, or a kind conversation, a warm meal, and the fact that you made it through another day. Over time, this trains your mind to automatically look for the good, even in difficult moments. 3. Use gratitude as a reframe. Whenever something goes wrong, ask, what could have been worse? What is this teaching me? How can I use this experience to grow? This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means choosing a perspective that brings peace instead of stress. The ultimate freedom, gratitude for everything. The highest level of gratitude is not just appreciating the good, but also the challenges, the difficult people who teach you patience, the failures that lead to wisdom, the setbacks that force you to grow. Because at the end of the day, everything in life is either a gift or a lesson. And when you learn to be grateful for both, you become truly free. Your next step, now that you've learned how to use gratitude to dissolve anger, let's take things even further. Because there's one more shift that can completely transform your mindset, learning how to use criticism as a tool for growth. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 9. Reframe criticism as a tool for growth. Imagine this. You put your heart into something. Maybe it's a project at work, a personal goal, or even a creative idea. You feel proud, excited, but then someone criticizes it. Their words hit harder than you expected. Doubt creeps in. Maybe they're right. Maybe you're not good enough. Your instinct? To defend yourself, to prove them wrong. Or worse, to let their words make you question your own worth. But what if, instead of seeing criticism as an attack, you saw it as an opportunity? Because here's the truth: criticism, when approached with the right mindset, is one of the most valuable tools for growth. Why does criticism hurt? Criticism stings because it challenges our ego. We attach our self-worth to being right, to being good enough. So when someone points out a flaw, it feels like a personal attack, even when it's not. But here's something to remember. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said. Instead, answer, "He does not know my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these." Epictetus. This is the mindset of detachment from ego. Instead of taking criticism personally, use it as a mirror, a reflection of where you can improve. How to reframe criticism. So how do you turn criticism from something painful into something useful? 1. Pause before reacting. When you receive criticism, your first instinct may be to defend yourself. Instead, pause. Take a deep breath. And remind yourself, this is not about me as a person. It's about my actions or ideas. Choose curiosity over defensiveness. This simple shift changes everything. 2. Separate emotion from information. Not all criticism is useful, but all criticism can reveal something. Ask yourself, is there truth in this feedback? Or is this coming from someone whose opinion I respect? Can I use this to improve? If the answer is yes, take the lesson. If the answer is no, let it go. Because not all opinions are worth your time. 3. Consider the source. There are 2 types of criticism. Keycap 1. Constructive criticism, given with the intent to help you grow. Keycap 2. Destructive criticism, rooted in jealousy, resentment, or ignorance. If someone you respect offers feedback, listen. But if the criticism comes from someone who is bitter or uninformed, it says more about them than it does about you. Remember, a lion does not lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. 4. Ask, how can I use this to grow? Even poorly delivered criticism can contain a lesson. Instead of thinking, why are they saying this? Ask, how can I improve from this feedback? Is there something valuable I can take from this? How would my best self respond? Shifting from reaction to reflection turns criticism into fuel for growth. The most powerful response to criticism. Here's something most people don't realize. The strongest response to criticism isn't arguing. It's improving. Let your results speak for themselves. If they doubt you, prove them wrong with action. If they criticize you, use it as motivation to get better. If they underestimate you, let success be your answer. Because in the end, your growth is the best response to any criticism. Your next step, now that you know how to reframe criticism as a tool for growth, let's move to the final and most powerful lesson, mastering the art of letting go. Because even when we improve, even when we grow, there are still things in life that weigh us down. And the only way to be truly free is to release them. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's keep going. 10. Master the art of letting go. Imagine holding on to a burning coal, intending to throw it at someone who hurt you. But while you wait for the right moment, The only person getting burned is you. This is what happens when you hold on to anger, grudges, and resentment. We often believe that by clinging to the pain, we are somehow punishing the person who wronged us. But in reality, we are only hurting ourselves. Letting go isn't about ignoring what happened. It's about releasing the emotional weight that's keeping you stuck. Because true strength isn't in holding on, it's in knowing when to let go. Why do we struggle to let go? The mind clings to the past for a simple reason. It seeks control. If I replay this moment enough times, I'll understand why it happened. If I stay angry, they'll know how much they hurt me. If I don't let go, they won't get away with it. But here's the truth. Holding on doesn't change the past. It only robs you of the present. The Buddha put it simply. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Pain is inevitable, but suffering? That is a choice. The freedom of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending something didn't happen. It means choosing peace over pain. It means freeing yourself from the weight of what you cannot change. Imagine someone wrongs you deeply. You can spend years replaying that moment, feeding the anger, keeping the wound open. Or you can say, I choose to let this go, not for them, but for me. This shift doesn't just heal emotional wounds. It gives you your power back. Because the moment you let go, you stop allowing the past to control you. How to practice letting go. So how do you actually start releasing what no longer serves you? 1. Accept that the past cannot be changed. No amount of overthinking, replaying, or wishing will undo what happened. Acceptance is the first step to freedom. 2. Reframe the pain as a lesson. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what did this experience teach me? How can I grow from this? When you see pain as a teacher, it loses its grip on you. 3. Release the need for closure. Not every wound gets an apology. Not every betrayal gets an explanation. And that's okay. Closure isn't something others give you. It's something you give yourself. 4. Choose peace over control. The mind seeks control, but true peace comes from surrender. When you release the need to control what's outside of you, you reclaim control over what's within you. The strength in surrender. Most people think letting go is weakness, but in reality, it takes incredible strength to look at what hurt you and say, this no longer has power over me. Letting go isn't giving up, it's stepping forward. It's the difference between being trapped in the past and being free in the present. And when you master the art of letting go, you don't just release pain. You unlock a life of peace, clarity, and true emotional freedom. Conclusion: the path to emotional freedom. You've made it to the end of this journey, a journey of mastering your emotions, reclaiming your power, and freeing yourself from the burdens that weigh most people down. Think about everything we've explored. The power of choice in your reactions. A letting go of expectations that create suffering. A releasing the need to always be right. A detaching from external validation. A setting boundaries to protect your energy. A using silence as a tool for wisdom. A practicing gratitude to dissolve negativity. A turning criticism into a path for growth. And finally, mastering the art of letting go, Each one of these shifts is a step towards something greater, a life where you are no longer controlled by circumstances, but by your own inner strength. This is what true freedom looks like. The choice is yours. Most people will go through life reacting, blaming, and holding on to things that only bring them pain. But you are not most people. You now have the knowledge, the tools, to break free from emotional traps. The question is, will you use them? Because in the end, peace isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create. And the power to do that? It has always been within you. Join the Practical Philosophy community. If this video resonated with you, if you're on a path of personal growth, self-mastery, and inner peace, then I invite you to be part of something greater. Welcome to Practical Philosophy, a place where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Here, we explore the ideas of Stoicism, Buddhism, Taoism, and psychology, transforming them into practical tools you can apply every single day. If you found value in this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. And if you know someone who could benefit from this message, share this video with them, because knowledge becomes even more powerful when it's passed on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing growth. And remember, the path to emotional freedom starts with you. Until next time, stay mindful, stay strong, and keep growing.